We have opportunities after opportunities that are lost, and it makes our law enforcement, our governance weaker, and the threats bolder. We must be able to, regardless whose ox is God, if you kidnap people beings, then I'm sorry.
Let's look at some of the other issues that have also been reported here, which we focused on a bit in the previous segment, where cases of military personnel engaging in robbery. Do you think we have internal mechanisms, for instance, in the army, of which is your constituency? Do you think they're really doing enough to say, wait a minute, we're beginning to hear this much more often than it used to be. We need to deal decisively with this.
Yes. I tell you something, the skill sets you acquire having gone through military service, police service, and other sister agency services are not written on the syllabi of any of our private schools. In fact, for you to even go get those skills, you have to be nominated. A lot of processes are involved. And finally, you get there, you go through it, you graduate and serve. As I speak today, I don't think the exit plan for military service personnel across board is as robust as it should be. I am passionate about that. I have a consultancy. I'm working seriously towards that. I was privileged to be in a country once where they have an Employ Our Veterans scheme, and I have copied that. You see, you don't teach a man some very dangerous skill sets for the protection of his country, and you just let him loose. You don't even know where he is. You don't know what he's doing. You don't keep him engaged. In my place, again, we have a proverb that says, hunger can make you beg your enemy. And if I can do some very dangerous things and I cannot feed, what do you want me to do? What happened with the Soviet Union will happen here. Once upon a time they were a great nation, once another day they were down. They have arsenals and arsenals of weapons and no food, and some people had petrodollars and no weapons. Today we are getting spikes in terrorism, spiked in small arm proliferation and what have you. So this military personnel is not news. What should be news is, what are you doing about it? There is what I want to call probably another army outside of the serving army. And not all of us have the latitude of mind and ambition to put back what we have learnt into growing a system proactively, regardless what informed our exit. Some people exit and they are bitter and they want vengeance. Some people exit, they are hungry. It's about survival.
Let's take a moment. We'll take it from there. I hope you don't lose your train of thought when we return after the break. Don't go away. Welcome back. You know, when you talked about the exit plan, what if that is interpreted as one part of the equation? Because if they do take away the exit plan, what do you do if people still engage in crime and you don't have internal measures to ensure that all of those processes, like the past that they were talking about, they review and continue to review them?
I tell you something. When you are in a system and you know that you are exiting within the next 6 months, it's going to affect from your biostatistics to even your interpersonal, relationships. What if you knew you will be exiting 5 years from today? You see, from my perspective as a security practitioner, I have gone into, the more you read, the more you will have to read. Security itself is not about any other than human beings. The smallest indivisible component of our existence here is the human. Now let's enter the psychology of this human, then you begin to understand what our security agencies must do. 2 things I learned from a mentor is, 1, we are social, and 2, creatures of habit. Now here is a man who's been in here for 25, 30 years. It's habit You take him out for 10 days, he could just die, depending on his psychological build. But if you put him through a 5-year exit plan process, getting used to having to be a non-soldier tomorrow becomes habit again. Okay? It's about habit. He starts gradually being inducted. Now, the exit plan scenario across the services, I don't think is that robust. I am working on something where we should be able to even write companies. There are wonderful skill sets. I've met a foreign retired general of the Marines, and he was working for one of these global couriers, and he was being paid much more than he ever earned while serving. And I asked him, so sir, what's the difference? And he said, son, I spent my life moving ammunition across borders. Today I do envelopes and parcels. It pays more, but it's boring. But he's been gradually taken out of that and put where his skill set can be used. If you can move missiles across borders, doing envelopes and is a picnic. There are different skill sets that are left to follow post-service years, and the crime sector is exploiting that properly. Add that to the fact that people are not taking care of remunerations, are not paid, blah, blah, blah. You now see the attraction. And crime is like gambling.
Let's wind down with this perspective or this angle. What role then can the judiciary play in all of this?
The judiciary itself, as I always say, talk about constitutions and human rights and what have you, but I always say those laws were not cast in stone. There are certain offenses that when they are committed threaten our sense of national security. Take for example, when you remove children from schools, kidnap them. Believe me, such people, we should descend on them with the might of 170 million Nigerians. No country is ever greater than its children. You can threaten us, but when you threaten our children, you are actually serving us extinction. So we'll dispatch you quickly. I have no respect for human rights of any child kidnapper. In fact, let's talk human wrongs instead. If you take my child, believe you me, I will fight you with the devil. It doesn't matter if you end up killing my child, but believe you me, I'll come after you with the devil. I expect no less from any judge, lawyer, governor, president, IG. I expect no less. If we don't do it, then trust me, we will have to protect our children. And no one will tell me I'm taking the law into my hands when the law proved to me it has no hands. The ball is in our court today. We have a celebrated case. We can make it, we can marry it.
That's the habit, the Christian habit coming out of you there.
Absolutely. No, it's clear.
So it's clear. Even though the lawyer will tell you, okay, hold on.
You guys will do it constitutionally.
We have to go process, no abuse process, all of those procedures. Always a pleasure to have you on, retired Captain Omar Ali, your security consultant. Thank you for coming on today.
Thank you.